So-
Recording.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. For the record, it's June 18th. This is the meeting of the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency. It's now 3:05. The following board members are present: Mr. Callahan, Pally, Ms. Scheit, Mr. Trotter, Mr. Braun, a quorum is present. Our minutes of the meeting of April 23rd have been sent to everyone. I have a motion to accept.
Motion.
Second.
Question with one edit.
With one edit.
It's one edit.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Lori?
Okay, included in your package is the operating results of January through May. So for the first 5 months, we're ahead of our budget. We've had one closing, a couple of refinances and mortgage amendments. And also we've received all of our annual admin fee for our pilots administration. Also, all pilot payments have been received and are being dispersed. And just to go through some of the items here, I'm just going to point out some things that are above or below budget. I just wanted to mention that for this period, we had an increase in our annual fees, and that's mostly why the income is up for annual fees versus budget. We did have included in advertising and promotion. There's a housing study that we had performed that we're in the process of reviewing, so that expenditure head, so that put us above the 5-month budget, but year to date, we should be under the annual budget. Also, our interest is up slightly, and that's because of our cash position, and that's it. Any questions or comments?
Hearing none. Need a motion to accept Lori's report? So moved.
Second.
I'll just mention that all of the payroll taxes and related withholdings have been paid timely in accordance with federal and state guidelines. All regulatory reports have been filed in a timely fashion, and all regulatory payments, pilots, have been made in accordance with state guidelines in a timely fashion.
There's a motion on the table. All those in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion carried.
said it before and say it again, Lori. We really should put that to music.
I always feel like it should be the fast thing at the end of the commercial.
The thing that you can't understand. Yeah.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is an application for Ronco Phase 2A. It's a subtenant application for PBLI LLC, which is doing business as Pliables. The application is in the packet, and we need a motion to accept the application, and then we also have a resolution for the subtenant.
Motion for the application and the resolution, please.
So
moved.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is AE Manorville 2 LLC. Included in your packets is an updated application. There's a few changes from the original, including an adjustment to the completion date, the project costs, which change to the project costs impacts the financing, sales tax, and mortgage reporting tax amounts. And so we need a motion to accept those updates. And then also there's a resolution, an amendment to the final authorizing resolution because of the changes to the application.
Motion,
So move.
second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is Holtzville Energy Storage LLC. Their letter is included in the packets, and they have requested an extension of their resolution to 8/1 of 2026.
And the reason for the extension, I'm sorry.
It's actually in the letter was in here. There's a
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
whole host of things that they outlined, including commercial offtake agreement for the power generated from the project is still outstanding or open. Transmission upgrades constructed for the project interconnection. New York State Public Service Commission approval of electric easement from National Grid to connect the project to the local utility grid. Procurement of the project infrastructure and pending tariffs and other regulatory changes have created schedule delays. So they are trying to address these issues. I think they're gonna need the
That's never gonna happen.
they're requesting an extension to August 1st of 2026.
If that bill passes Congress, that's never gonna happen. Just so you know,
Well,
that's too bad. Okay.
Motion,
So moved.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
next item is the Preserve at East Mauritius. They are requesting an extension of their final authorizing resolution. Peter, the letter said, the letter was dated April 10th and it said for 90 days, which brings us to July 10th, roughly. Do you need longer than that?
I think I may need a little longer than that, but it will definitely close by the end of July. If I can speak for Peter Curry, Farrell Fritz, 400 RXR Plaza, Uniondale, New York. See Anne Marie nodding to that. She's heard it a lot of times before. They have a $25 million commitment from Fairbridge for construction lending. I received a draft of the IDA documents, which have been reviewed by Lenders Council. So I'm assuming that they haven't really given me any comments and that we should be able to close shortly. My client would like to close by the end of this month. Given how closings go, it may take a little bit longer than that, but if I could get till the end of July, I think that would be perfect.
Should we give ourselves just a little bit of wiggle room just in case? I don't think it hurts anything.
It doesn't hurt me. So if you would like to say the end of August, that's.
I'd go to September, just in case things happen over the summer. We don't have it.
Okay, end of September?
Yeah.
Motion to that effect, please.
Motion?
Second,
Second.
questions? All those in,
That's fine.
let me go around. Mr. Callahan,
No.
Valley,
Yes.
Ms. Scheit,
Yes.
Mr. Trotter,
Yes.
Mr. Braun, yes, motion carries. Thank you.
There you go.
I love you.
30.
Oh, no, I-
So what we end up, end of September is what we end up
Yes.
doing?
September 30th.
Yeah.
I thought we was in the past anyway.
Okay.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Salamander Cove. Also included in the package is a letter we received requesting an extension to April 27th of 2026. They've had a series of holdups as well.
Regional application's gotta be what, 5 years?
Oh, Scalamander, that's the one.
There have issues updating fund management.
Yes. And they still need to hook into the sewer.
So I'm sorry, Lisa, what were they looking for to extend?
Till
Their final
April
authorizing.
April
resolution.
26.
2026.
That seems,
That's like a long
is that,
time.
is that reasonable from your perspective? Or- Annette?
Doesn't hurt one way or the other.
Yeah, they can
you
close
know.
before that. There's,
Okay, no, I'm good. I
So,
just, it seems, it just, we haven't had one that long for a while, but
So,
if that's
talk
what's
to-
necessary, that's what.
it seems like 5 years for us. You talk to an attorney. It's been going on for probably 10 or 15 years.
Yeah,
So,
I think I remember when he came in here to talk
Yep.
to us.
Yeah.
yeah,
He did.
Your motion to that effect?
So moved.
second.
Second,
It was supposed to be
all those in favor?
I.
Opposed?
Salamander.
It
Yeah.
was a typo.
next item on the agenda is spec industrial. Our current moratorium ends at the end of this month. So I wanted to bring it up and see if we want to extend the moratorium or allow it to end.
Extend it, yeah.
Well, I guess the question is, what do we want to do?
That's why we gotta extend it.
No, no,
No,
no,
I'm
mean,
just teasing.
if we're gonna create a policy on
one way or the other. We either gonna, there's only three options. We're either gonna not do any spec warehouse completely. We're gonna do all spec warehouses completely, or we're gonna do somewhere in between. Based on some numbers relating to tenant, certification or phase-in or whatever it is. We gotta do one of the three. And we have to make an affirmative decision to do one of the three so that prospective people know what our policy is before they come in here and ask us to do something. So I guess the question is, we had talked about doing it with the UTEP, which I have no problem with, but we just should do it. Do something.
Since we just got the housing study back, that's later on the agenda, but, that will, when we come up with a policy for housing,
Right.
that will,
Into,
well, it'll result in us adjusting our UTEP, and if we're gonna change things in our UTEP, I think we should change everything we wanna change.
Yeah, I have no problem with that, we should just do it.
Yeah.
That's my point is, we've laid it out there for a significant period of time. We should just make a decision.
There
Yes,
has
no,
been-
or maybe.
But we know the process is kind of difficult, so we better make sure we make any changes we want at that time, so.
Well, we hope to get the housing study out by July first, and for a bunch of different reasons, the governance committee cannot meet in time, and can't advertise the time, to have that meeting, so that probably won't happen until sometime in July, maybe early August. I think we should extend this for some period, whether it's 3 months till the end of September or 6 months till the end of December. It will give us time to go through the housing study and adjust the UTEP accordingly.
Just the UTEP, you gotta do hearings and everything.
Yeah.
You really need 6 months.
At minimum.
Yeah.
What do
And
you-
the other thing is if we do,
Lisa,
6
what do
months.
you suggest?
well, if we do 6 months and then it takes us 4 months, we can,
Oh, yeah,
we
we
can
could,
back it out
Yeah,
after 4 months.
Of course.
But otherwise, I think in 3 months, I would be very impressed if we had, all the changes to the UTEP, did the public hearing, had everything done in 3 months in order to update the UTEP. I think it's gonna take us longer than that.
so you're good with 6 months?
6 months.
Good. Let
6 months with an understanding that if we can finish it before then.
Oh,
we'll do
that's
it
the goal.
before then.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
the goal,
Mhm.
because I just think it's I don't want to use the word unfair.
Oh, you're right.
It's time we did something.
Gotta make a
I agree.
decision.
Whatever it is, we should do something.
Tell you though,
So-
we still do have, 4 buildings. One of them, 3 are completely vacant.
Right.
One of them has a tenant in about half of it. So
all right, so,
there hasn't been a lot of movement.
No,
Which
but
is pickleball.
oh, is it? Yeah.
And the solar never went on the roofs, the subtenants.
Oh,
And in a year from this month, and from next month, July, you're gonna have an issue with those. We had looked it up, remember? With the wildfire,
well, we're getting,
their
close-
job creations, right? Isn't it next July? I think so.
I think it might be this December.
November, December.
Like as of December 30th, they have to report to us. I have to double check that, but it's
And it's
coming
gonna
up.
be
Oh,
not much.
No.
Okay, so. All right, so within 6 months, and if we get it done sooner, we'll get it done sooner.
Did we
Okay.
have a,
We don't have a motion, no. Somebody care
Yeah,
to move
I
that?
thought Frank.
Yeah, I
did.
made a motion
You did, I did, I'm sorry.
and
And
Emery seconded.
Emery seconded.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Oh,
Opposed? Thank you.
The discussion is not about the motion, but are we just gonna wait 6 months and then contemplate our,
Well,
we're gonna
contemplate
do
our
the house
neighbors?
there's
and-
work to be done in between,
Yeah.
between the
Right.
housing study
Thank
and the other
Thank
study,
you. Yeah.
then.
are there any other issues, Lisa, besides the housing study and the warehouse policy that you want included in amendments to the UTEP?
there, a couple of little things, but like,
Those are the two major ones.
those are the two major.
Okay.
ones. Yeah, I have some other notes of some other things that
Fine.
we should
Mhm.
Okay.
consider, but some of it is literally,
Clean up.
cleanup, yeah,
Okay, but those are the two major
Those are the
issues
two
that we
major
need to resolve.
yes,
Okay, fine.
yeah, so put your thinking caps on as far as the,
The logo.
I like, I do too.
as far as the,
I saw it.
warehouse.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
I was down here.
Mitch, I've been concerned for a while about the salaries that are presented by our,
Emery, can you talk a little louder?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've been concerned for a while about, where's the owl? About the salaries that are presented by some of our projects because they are significantly below a living wage for Long Island. We know how expensive it is, and it's only getting more expensive. So I'd like to bring some information to the group
Fine.
to think about.
Fine. There is to some degree. There's a difference between the applicant and their salaries and the tenant and their salaries. They're
Well,
not necessarily the
yeah.
same
Mhm.
entity in that regard, so. I'm not arguing right or wrong if
Mhm.
you're,
Mhm.
understand,
Mhm.
we just need to be cognizant of that.
There are things we can do
Differential.
and things we can't. do.
Right, that's my point.
Yep.
Right,
And we may or may not want to incorporate that to the UTEP,
Mhm.
but that could certainly be, it's definitely in our application. It could be part of our discussion. too.
That's also an argument that Vince used to make 20 years ago.
Did,
Got very deep into that discussion.
did anything ever change with the governor about doing things for projects, whether it be prevailing wage and
No,
all that?
They're not doing it,
No,
Oh,
it sounds
oh,
like it's
they're not
dead.
doing it.
Oh.
Then, well,
Huh?
it's,
Until after the election.
it's not happening this session.
Ah, good. Good.
Mhm.
There are too many problems with the budget probably, right? They weren't really.
No, and they would, almost did it yesterday, but it got not happening.
And Mitch on board composition, how about that?
The board is still there. No,
not-
nothing is
not that-
happening, nothing is happening on that, no,
Okay,
nope. In fact, I don't think, unless Lisa understands it, I don't think there was much done on IDA governance at all this session.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah, I
so.
don't
It's
think so.
good.
I didn't see anything from Ryan either.
Yeah.
If it's not broken, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Mm.
So basically,
What an idea.
well,
I don't know if that's their idea, but,
so is the session
But it didn't
over
get
for, I saw something,
Session is over for all intents and purposes. The assembly is doing a few minor things, but the Senate is already gone.
you know, there was
Yeah.
something I was reading yesterday about the insurance costs.
Yeah.
With the scaffold law. And I forgot who the gentleman.
Mike Flory.
Yeah, exactly. And he had a good point there and I'm saying, is people gonna listen or he's just? It's true, it's the only.
Combination of both.
Maybe.
But what he
What he
wrote,
says, no, what he
But they
says is
take
correct.
yes,
People still don't listen. That's
But-
the problem.
Maybe
it's true that
sales.
people are going in, learning. But people are, oh, sorry.
Yeah, maybe.
that's what I.
I'm sorry.
That's an
That people are learning. To go in and get hurt and it's silly. I see it all the time.
My point is, Long Island, New York State is the only state with a scaffold. law,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Which means that New York State should have the
Think we could
safest
do with you.
state on accidents in the country, if we're the only one who has it, and we're 32nd.
Yeah,
So what do the first 31 states know that we don't?
Mm-hmm.
what is Florida?
That's my
do?
question.
We should follow, well,
But that's a whole different.
yeah, no, correct, all right, but it was a good article,
Yeah,
that good thing he wrote,
Yes. That's why I hired them.
okay, all right, I like, let him know that somebody read
I would do so.
it.
Or just so you know, the owl picks up crazy noises and Joss later on is gonna be listening to the minutes and her ears come to.
It wasn't my intention, but I figured that's why she grabbed it away from me, you know?
Just,
I'll be thinking of you in a few days.
it's very quiet.
You put something in front of me, I got it.
A pigeon. It's one of those. Okay, so, thank you. We will extend the moratorium for 6 months and with the hopes of being able to update the UTEP in that time and, we'll get there in a second, but we have to put together a governance committee meeting to discuss the housing studies. I don't know if we want to talk about, spec warehouses during that because there's a lot,
Mm-hmm.
those studies are pretty dense. But if you want to, we could certainly bring it up, or we could schedule another governance committee. 'Cause I don't think it's gonna be one and done with housing.
Yeah, it's fine.
FSAs and HRAs. So I mentioned this a few meetings ago. These are, it's a policy that I mentioned that we may want to put together, and it basically I'm gonna mix them up because I keep getting them backwards, but I think the HRA,
Health reimbursement account,
but is that the one that the
you could do for employees. The
Okay, so the
HSA is for
okay.
owners.
FSA?
No, the HSA, health savings account would be for an owner of a business. The HRA would be for employees. Where you could use it for a reimbursement account
Okay, so
for
one of them.
health expenses or dental or.
Okay, thank you. So one of them, the agency puts in a pool of money and says if, you need to have something done that for vision, dental, medical, that the health insurance doesn't cover, then this is a pool of money that you can use to cover
Those,
other things. Our vision insurance only covers part of glasses. Our dental insurance only covers certain things. So, I guess an easy example is I need new glasses. I go in, the insurance covers $100 of them, but the glasses cost $300. I can turn to the HRA.
okay, you got it,
HRA
you got it.
to tap this fund to pay the difference. And then there's also something called a FSA that I, as the employee, can put pre-tax dollars into it. And I can use that money to buy a whole host of things. I could use pre-tax dollars to pay prescriptions. I can use it to buy Band-Aids. Some of it's over the counter stuff, some of it isn't. So we have an opportunity to set up these accounts. It's a couple of $100 for a one-time setup. There's a couple of $100 annually, and then there's a monthly so it's per person per month charge that he told me it's somewhere between like $4 and $6 per person.
Just
per
for the
month,
card,
basically.
that's what I pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we pay like $6 a person per card.
Per month,
Yeah, per month.
So basically, my question is, should we pursue this? And if the answer to that is yes, what would the pool for the HRA be per person?
Should you get us some kind of proposal from them and some information that we could look at, because I'm not totally familiar with this.
Well, I can do all of that, but they told me in order to start putting it together, they needed to know so basically,
Pick a number. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we did talk about it once in
Oh, we're not.
yeah,
a meeting or two ago.
Yeah.
We talked about it
Okay.
already. I think what they're looking for is what, as board members, what we're looking to say, we could pull together per employee. And then they could go back and put something together
Gotcha.
annually, what they could do per employee.
Right.
What, I could give you what I mean, I don't know if you want. you
Yeah,
know,
go ahead.
There are some guidelines, which I think Lori may know per se. But with me, for me, it's an health savings account for the owners. They let you put up to $9,500 a year.
but that's what you,
I know, I'm correct.
right? I just want to
Correct.
make sure, okay.
That's what, so I write a check to myself, I put it in and I got $9,500 for all
Pre-tax.
yeah, I don't pay taxes on it.
Yeah, which is.
Medical,
beneficial to me.
Band-Aids, prescriptions, anything that the health insurance doesn't pay. And every year when you renew your health insurance, they keep changing the percentages.
Right.
So this year, you're going for this doctor, it's $25 copayment. Next year, it's 50. The following year, it's 75. And it just keeps changing and changing, but the monthly premiums go up. That was the whole idea of putting this together for the owners. And then they came up with an HRA for the employees, where you could help them out as well, because again, they're not paying what they used to pay. It helps them because it's, well, the FSA would help them. They could put their own money in their pre-tax. But employers are putting certain monies away aside for the employees to help them out with these things. We just didn't, and again, I don't know if you were in the meeting.
wasn't.
Yeah, what we want to put together for the employees, so that's what we're trying to come up
Okay.
with. Mhm. So I don't think you could really
And then-
shop the
and then-
$6 a
So
month
for
fee or.
example, I bought my Band-Aids and they cost $5. I send it off to somebody.
No, you go to the pharmacy and you use the card,
Oh, gotcha. I
and
don't
it's
know.
all administered, that's what the $6 for, they're administering. Then
Okay.
you can log
So
on
it's
to the
very clean.
website, yeah, you log on to the website and it keeps track of all your expenses.
I'd like to get more information.
You know.
myself.
That is one where he's put,
He's
money
putting his own money in as the owner.
And.
You could do that for
And
the
then-
that is
FSA.
from our- the FSA,
Right,
and there's federal, I think it's federal guidelines,
Yep.
we're only permitted to put X dollars in per year. And if you don't spend your money at the end of the year,
It rolls over.
some of it can roll
Correct,
over.
correct,
Some of it, if you, let's say you put whatever the cap is and you don't spend anything, you can roll over a piece of it, but the rest of it you lose. So that's,
Very interesting concept.
that's
It
one of
helps.
them. And then the other one is the HRA. And that one, the agency has to come up with a cap, because the agency is gonna put in the money. So that's the question that I.
You know, like 5,000 an employee per calendar year. 6,000, whatever we decide to come up with in the way of expenses. I mean, it's, you know, like we said before, living on Long Island, even having all these plans and stuff, it keeps changing. It makes it, for me, it helped out a little bit because family of five. I mean, everyone's going to the doctor when the kids are little.
Yeah.
The braces, at the time, I think I paid it helped me for that, between $3,000 and $5,000 per kid for braces. I mean, it's just a fixed number. Every time you go up, well, doc, same number. Yeah, it's the same number.
so
So-
the savings for you is on the tax portion.
Correct, that's right, yeah. Mhm.
But Marty, you can't, you don't use it by the end of December.
Mine is always gone. Mine is always gone. I never,
If there's an amount there.
Yep.
I seem to remember that you could roll it until like April. And if you didn't use it by April, it was gone.
but I never had that because with the family of five, it was the first,
There's two different.
yeah, she's talking about the separate one.
Well, the one doesn't affect us.
Yeah.
One's employee.
Alls I have is the employer sponsored. I,
Is use it or lose it.
okay,
The money, the employer, so let's just say it's $5,000 and I use 2,000, that's it, I lost my access to the other 3,000, I have a calendar year to use it. But the agency keeps the 3,000 that I didn't use.
but most likely they're all gonna use it because it's, things are expensive. Yeah, no,
Depends on what the amount is.
yeah,
that
correct.
You know,
Used to have, when we were town employees, there was a,
Back in the day.
back in the day, it was a, prescription reimbursement.
oh, yeah,
And I never maxed mine out, even with a family
Okay.
of five. You know, it just depends.
Marty, you got a suggested amount?
I don't wanna be the one, I mean, you could, I would say
Maybe
you could, well, I would say you could start somewhere, 5,000 a year and see what happens. If in 6 months it doesn't look right, we could always go back and revisit it.
Well, I think you'd visit during the course of the year. I mean,
I'm not sure how that works.
No,
I think you gotta commit to the year and then look at it
Yeah,
towards the end of 26 or 27, whatever.
I'd say, I mean,
I think it would run through for 25, and then we would revisit in 26, probably with our annual.
any other suggestions? I mean, I would start somewhere and say,
to think about it and then,
you know,
Well, I can get a proposal together if we give him a starting.
yeah, I
point.
got it.
So,
so say 5,000
You can pick any number and
Yeah.
you can make a proposal and you can always reduce it or raise it.
Say,
Seems reasonable.
what?
It seems like a
Oh, yeah.
reasonable place to start.
Yeah.
I'll start somewhere.
starting point to
Okay,
get the
so if you give
information.
them the number, you can.
So
So start with 5 and see what comes. If you guys feel comfortable, all right, start with 5 and see what he says.
we're not finalizing it today,
No, I know, but you need a number. You need a number, so I would start with that.
okay?
Will
Yeah.
do. Thank you.
Then
Okay.
come back next month and we'll, next meeting,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
What would we do without it?
Okay, the next item on the agenda is job creation numbers. We sent letters to 7 of our companies that didn't quite make their job numbers. Included in your packet is the results from the annual reports. So you can see who didn't make their job creation numbers, and we sent letters. I haven't received them back yet, but you know, it's not past the deadline to get them back. But I just wanted to alert you that that was a work in progress. Does anybody have any questions on that? The next item on the agenda.
Yeah,
is-
I mean,
Yeah.
one of my surprises was looking at Blue Point Brewery. I was surprised to see them on the list.
Yeah, well, and that's what we asked, like, explain what happened. the letter says it a little
Right,
bit
right, right.
more eloquently.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, yeah.
I don't know whether they trimmed after they were sold or what, depending on what side
Yeah.
they were on. Don't know.
Because I remember when the switchover was, they felt very comfortable with the numbers. If not, if I'm correct, they talked about them possibly increasing when we made the changes. But
It took them,
things
you
change.
might remember, it took them forever to allocate how much of the purchase, because they bought a whole bunch of money.
Yes.
Yep, yep, I remember.
To allocate how much for each one. So that could have been part of it, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well-
We'll get to
well, we'll
that.
find out.
And if you look, I only, just so it would fit on one sheet, so it wasn't craziness, I only gave you 2022, 2023, and 2024's numbers. If you look, they had 103 employees in 2022, 86 in 2023, 51 in 2024. So they've been, maybe things are more automated, maybe, there could be a whole host of reasons.
What was the number they were supposed to be at?
They were supposed to give us 66. So this is the first year that they're below
Below.
that.
We kind of looked at an 85%,
Yeah,
value or number over
Yeah.
the years.
okay.
So, we'll bring them back. We'll let you know if there's anything
Yeah.
that, warrants further.
When do they have to reply by?
You remember the date, Jess?
I want to say July 15th.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say
So
middle.
by
of
August.
By the next
By August.
By our
you'll
next
have
meeting?
Before the next
information.
meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
yeah, thank you.
were there any other questions? The next item on the agenda is the purchasing policy. We haven't, amended or looked at our purchasing policy in quite some time. And it's got a threshold where it kicks in of $500.
Changes.
So we change that.
But I didn't bring it, but I just want to make sure you're okay with me bringing it forward.
Yes.
So $500 is really not much money anymore. We hit that threshold pretty easily, and sometimes it's like almost a little bit silly. You're getting like 3 quotes on something that just costs what it costs. And then you're like kind of, but yes,
Should make it 5,000. I think.
for the minimum.
Yep.
Okay. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Fine.
Sounds good.
Counselor says 5, we
Okay,
go with 5.
so I'll adjust them starting at
No reason to do
5,000.
more work than you have to do.
Okay, so you need a resolution.
Yes.
Yeah,
So move.
Second,
Further discussion.
No, we're good.
All those in favor?
Yeah,
Aye.
yes.
thank you. Okay, so I'll adjust the numbers. Thank you. Okay, and then the last item on the agenda, and then we do have to go into executive session though, is housing. So I reached out to Camoin and asked them for some dates that would work for them to present to our governance committee about the housing study. They told me that Monday, July 7th, and I can send these around if this would be easier, but I just figured we could talk about it. Monday, July 7th at either 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, Tuesday, July 8th at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. Wednesday, July 9th at 11, the 16th anytime after 2. The 16th is our board meeting, and I think it might be a lot to do a board
Yes.
meeting and then the governance committee meeting, because if everybody has looked at those studies, you'll see there's a lot of information. I think it's probably only gonna be an hour, maybe less, for them to present, but I think it might be a lot, maybe not.
Okay, more.
Okay. So maybe we just take the 16th off, because that,
mhm.
Daughter's
you
birthday.
guys might have something else you have to do.
Like my 47th wedding anniversary?
Details.
On the
Such a
16th?
bragger.
You bring your wife.
Well, my daughter's 24.
Huh?
Nothing says I love you,
Oh, sure.
like the governance
Wow.
committee.
Fair enough, I gotta go to an IDA meeting, go to 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for Mitch, we're gonna skip the 16th.
I couldn't make it either, so.
Or then they also gave me Thursday, July 17th at either 11 or 1. So any of those looking
I
better.
left,
What was the
I
seventh?
was charging my phone in my car and I forgot it in the car.
Okay.
So
What
I-
was the seventh?
Seventh was
The
at one,
7th, 1 or 2. The 8th, 10 or 3.
I could do the eighth at 10.
Eight's probably better, cause the seventh, like right after the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, yeah,
The eighth at 10 o'clock?
8 to 10
Oh,
o'clock. is
Do we
good.
have enough time to post? Yes, we should.
The 8th looks fine for me. I'm not speaking for everybody else, but if you're here and you wanna get,
no clue.
that's fine. Alright.
It's nice not to have my phone, but. it's not-
I know, I almost left mine in the car too. I almost left mine in the car too.
And you could do 3,
I can't do 3.
okay?
Okay.
11?
Getting close to dinner.
Should we move on from the 8th? How does the 9th at 11?
We might have a conflict, Lisa,
You do?
9th at 11.
Okay. I don't know why I can't see.
I can't do the ninth.
So I have
Oh.
a day right.
Can't do the night?
Okay, no, the 9th is
Take it
no
off.
good.
Yearly doctor, I'll forget an
Uh,
appointment.
What about the 7th?
It's
That's right after the holiday weekend.
Okay.
I mean, I could do the seventh, but I
I
can't
can't
do
do
two, I can't do the afternoon. I could do the morning of the seventh.
How about the 17th?
17th, I am away.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Send
back
an email?
to Mike and ask for some more dates. and
Okay,
I'll email
alright,
them.
yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So keep the 8th on the list.
Oh, the 8th didn't really work.
But Fred
because-
can't do. that,
Oh,
so
Fred
that's
can't,
why.
I didn't.
Alright,
That's
see
why.
what else they could do.
Okay.
Try again.
Alright, I'll
Okay.
try again.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll figure it out. What else is on?
I have-
Okay,
I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, with all the articles that you put in here and so forth, whatever happened to that project? I don't know if it's dead or not with the Trump or even the governor.
What?
The project that we were doing at the old power plant. That dead in the water or no? Weren't we doing something?
Storm, you mean the
Yes,
battery
yes,
storage?
yes.
That one may go.
that one may go.
I thought it was a good project. I just haven't heard anything lately about it, so,
These take a while. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
okay, okay, no, no, no,
That- They better sprint.
Oh, look at that, see, all right. And then the other one with the Ornstein project that was off and then back on, was that our project or no?
Which one?
Yes.
The one that was stopped for a week or two and they were losing a lot of money and then they came back on. Ornstein, they,
Oh, Sunrise Wind?
Oh.
Sunrise Wind.
No, it wasn't Sunrise Wind. It was another.
Is it Empire Wind?
It was
Empire
Empire,
Wind.
which is not here.
Not ours.
All right, so we're good.
Sunrise, they're building.
Yeah.
Isn't there one
Don't
from?
talk
Sher-
about
Sher-
it. We don't want anybody
That's
to know
Sunrise,
about it.
that one is under
Oh,
construction.
that
We
It's going
closed
ahead.
that already.
But that's going from Shirley down to the
Yeah.
expressway to Hopewell.
Being quiet.
Solar, yeah, I mean,
Oh,
that's.
she shut the other one down when half done, and
Am I
Coco
right?
had to go make a deal.
Okay, all right. All right, I won't talk about it. Sorry.
Yeah, no
Whatever.
talking.
We're
I
afraid
thought
someone's
it
gonna.
was a good, I thought it was a good.
Item on the agenda is executive session, so we need a motion to go into executive session.
Motion,
Second,
For legal reasons.
Yeah, lawsuit.
Again,
For a second,
I
Emery said second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Just-
Need a motion to come out of the executive session.
motion,
Your second,
second,
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And for the minutes, there was no decisions made during executive session. Unless there any further business to discuss, need a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you guys in July.